راديو إلى ولاية غرب وشمال بحر الغزال، غرب والاستوائية الوسطى، جونغلي، أعالي النيل وواراب. من خلال التعاون مع آي راديو يمكنك التواصل مع المجتمعات المتنوعة والجماهير المستهدفة في المناطق ديل.
مشاركة المجتمع. الشراكة مع آي راديو بتعني التعامل مع مجتمعات على مستوى الشعبي. رسالتك حتوصل للمستمعين في مواقع مختلف، مما يعزز التفاعلات الهاتفة ويزيد الوعي بعلامة تجارية.
التغطية الشاملة مع محطات في مواقع استراتيجية زي الرنج، ملكال وباليت. بتوفر آي راديو تغطية شاملة بتصل إلى كل من المراكز الحضرية والمناطق الريفية. بتضمن شراكتك مع آي راديو الرؤية عبر منطقة جغرافية واسعة.
ما تفوت فرصة توسيع نطاق رسالتك باستخدام آي راديو. شارك أو أعلن معنا الليلة وخلي صوتك مسموع في جميع أنحاء جنوب السودان.
Welcome to the Sundown Show. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown for the news. On South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on our radio with me, Madrama James. Today is Thursday, 17th of April 2025. We are live every Monday to Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. bringing you a comprehensive look at the day's top stories, the latest update, in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and few surprises along the way. You can be part of the conversation by calling us on 0911-022-986-986 and for us a text message on 091-3986-986. If you are not near a radio, don't worry. We are also streaming live on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, and more. And of course, you can also tune in anytime by visiting our website at www.iradio.org. Coming up. A U.S.-based South Sudanese academia says should the U.S. government proceed with the plans of closing the embassy in Juba, it would undermine America's ability to monitor and address challenges in South Sudan.
I should also add that should this policy comes to pass and the embassy is closed down in Juba, such an eventuality would be bad for South Sudan in many respects.
Well, we will hear from Professor Jok Madut why the impact on South Sudan if the U.S. closed down its embassy in Juba in the first hour of the show. Still to come, a civil society activist is urging leaders to choose dialogue in order to restore the ongoing conflict in Upper Nile.
As a civil society, I would like to say the situation of Upper Nile State requires dialogue, and that's why we are appealing to our leaders at the level of principles of the parties that are signatory to our access. Dialogue is the only option that we need them to engage on.
Yes, we'll get more directly from Edimoni Yakani, who is the Executive Director for Community Empowerment Progress Organization, also known as SEPO. In the second hour, police in will have launched a crackdown on that illegal drug use, targeting substances commonly known as ice, and that's tramadol.
فنحن لقينا انه في المواطنين او شباب المراهقين السن بتعاطوا المخدر يسمى بهايز، وكمان برضو سوء استعمال بتاع ترامادول.
Itabasma le radio الحقيقة اي راديو انتكم في جنوب السودان.
Well, indeed, انتكم في جنوب السودان مستمعين في كل محل. مرحبا بكم في برنامج بتاعنا سانداون. معكم في تقديم انا مدرما جيمس. انا بكون معكم من لحد بعدين saa 6. انا بيطلع برا من داخل الاستوديو، وانا بيبدا بالذات بصوت اللي بيطلع من ولد بتاعنا جنوب السودان وساكن في امريكا، هو جوك مادوت. هلو بقول بالضبط شنو في خطوه لامريكا دار شيل عشان كيف يقفلوا embassies تقريبا 30 وعشرة دي بكون في افريقيا جنوب السودان جزء منه. فكده نبدا توالي برنامج. Let's start the show with the latest update on the relationship between South Sudan and the United States. Well, as you might have heard in the news, the U.S. government is considering shutting down several of its diplomatic missions abroad. That includes 10 embassies and 17 consulates with South Sudan, the Central African Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Lesotho on that list. So how has this news landed? Well, a US-based South Sudanese academia doctor, that's Jok Madut Jok, says if the US government proceed with closing its embassy in Juba, it would seriously weaken America's ability to monitor and respond to challenges here in South Sudan. Dr. Jok, who is a professor that's Sierra Consa University, told iRadio that this move seems to tie the Trump's administration's cost-cutting and inward-looking foreign policy. He also noted the plan hasn't been finalized as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is yet to officially approve. But under the draft, responsibility of these embassies would shift to that U.S. missions in neighboring countries. Dr. Jok raised a big concern why withdrawal from regions dealing with conflict and instability. He believes this proposal isn't backed by solid policy analysis but are driven by that an agenda to reduce global commitment and spending. He also pointed out that South Sudan might have not been seen as a priority by the Trump's administration due to its limited trade and business tie with the U.S. Dr. Jok spoke to iRadio in an exclusive interview, and this is what he had to say.
The reports that the U.S. Trump administration is looking to close down nearly 30 overseas embassies and consulates is part of the dramatic efforts by Elon Musk-backed Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE, to shrink the federal government. But the announcement remains murky and its official status is uncertain. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is yet to formally sign off on the proposed closures. The proposal recommends closing 10 embassies and 17 consulates, including the embassies in Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Lesotho, and South Sudan. This proposal says that the closed embassies will have their duties transferred to outposts within the region in neighboring countries. The question that comes to mind is what is driving the U.S. to dramatically reduce its diplomatic presence in these countries and deny itself the eyes on the local dynamics there. I suspect this is not a well-studied policy, but one that is simply emanating from the overall Trump's approach to global relations. Inward-looking, America first sort of thing, reduction of bureaucracy and the costs of the federal government. I would not be surprised if some people also think that this is just one of those orders that will likely be reversed in due course, as the president seemed to make decisions without clear studies, and then when it realizes that it is not a sustainable policy and perhaps even a negative policy, then he decides to reverse course. How could it be good for the US to move its diplomatic missions out of countries that are beset by conflict, such as South Sudan, DRC, and Central African Republic, without risking turning these countries towards alliances with other countries that have motives that are not so good for the US, or that are competing with the US in the fields of security, in trade and influence, such as China, Russia, Turkey, Arab Gulf countries such as UAE? Well, it is clear this proposal has the potential to cost the US its ability to remain a global player on issues that are pertinent to its national security. For example, countries experiencing conflict in Africa are also potential grounds for terrorism, organized crime, such as human trafficking and drug trafficking and money laundering, all of which are issues of real serious concern for the United States security. So to deny itself the ability to watch these processes locally seems wrong-headed as a national policy issue. I think going forward, we are waiting to hear the president himself chimes in. So far, President Trump has not spoken about it, and the press secretary in the White House has said that we all have to wait for the president to declare how this policy is going to move forward and whether it will actually come to pass. I should also add that should this policy comes to pass and the embassies close down in Juba, such an eventuality would be bad for South Sudan in many respects. One, it would mean that the US can no longer bear witness to the many negative developments and challenges in the country, such as famine, disease, violence, and human rights abuses and other undemocratic practices that the South Sudan government sometimes pursues. Two, it would mean that this is now true severing of engagement between the two peoples, and the cultural exchanges would simply diminish. Research exchanges would also be lost. Perhaps the Trump administration does not really care about these things, as its interests have always been commercial, and since South Sudan does not have much trade with US, perhaps Washington does not see any utility in continued engagement with Juba. So this policy might, on the face of it, look detrimental to the relationships, but deep down, Washington is probably convinced that South Sudan does not really present any kind of value that is worth investing in.
Yes, that was Dr. Jok Madut Jok, who is US-based South Sudanese academia, talking to that iRadio. And now we want to hear from you. What do you consider would be the impact on South Sudan if the US shut down its embassy in Juba? Before that, before we open our lines, let's quickly review why embassies are so important in diplomatic ties. An embassy represents a country's presence in another country or nation. It's not just about that's politics. Embassies also promote cultural exchange, education, trade, and tourism. Through embassies, countries stay connected, share knowledge, and help their citizens abroad. For South Sudan, having an embassy in Washington helps maintain ties with the U.S., which plays a key role in South Sudan's peace and development. Embassies play a huge role. They are more than just building, as you might think or know. They are a bridge between that country. Through embassies, we maintain diplomatic ties, promote cultural exchange, create education opportunities, and support citizens living abroad. And yes, they even play a role in pushing for that peace and development. Now, if U.S. taken that decision to shut down its embassy in Juba, what do you think will be the impact? Share your thought with us on 0911022986. First caller, hi radio.
Madrama, good evening.
Good evening, Dianjeng.
Thank you, brother. Actually, you have asked good question, but how confused it is the South Sudanese citizen. In fact, it has no impact on people like us, but it has impact on a South Sudanese who are depending on their brothers and sisters in the U.S. As you have already read about in the review, why should we are supposed to have embassies? Connection of relatives going to be hard. So this is one. Another thing is that, America, as the analysts have put it, America is a big country, as a developed country. I think Trump have already stated clear. African, it is high time for you to start looking at yourself and develop yourself. Because it have told people that America, people fought for. We got independent like any other African country. And we Americans have worked hard to make our country a great nation that every citizen in the world admire. I think that is a good message Trump have said. And I never had a problem with Trump because he's a man of his word and he always says something that affects you. And if you take it serious, you will change your attitude and you become a good person. When you have a friend, you don't have a friend who is a stupid drunkard, who is nothing, useless, I think you will get other friends to advise you that this friend of yours, you have to avoid him because you are gaining nothing. Instead, he's dragging you to a wrong direction. That's why America is trying to shut down embassies to the countries that he thinks there's nothing out of them, is just to chaos, causing his own conflict, and he wanted America to farm to invest his money in this conflict, fighting for them gender-based violence, fighting for them health issues, fighting for them even political issues. And these the one causing them for yourself, and you want America to come in and help you. I think it is very good decision also in other way that it is good for a South Sudanese citizen to learn that South Sudan is our country, and it is high time now. We need to change our negative attitude. Tribal politics is something that makes people to hate you. And America feel that we are a tribal citizen that would defend our tribes. So what could we be wanted to have a relationship on you as a great country where it's a different multiple human being is there? And never legal organism in America is considered to be in America as a great human being and a person. And a South Sudanese citizens who are fighting because of tribes and communities, we should not compare ourselves, or we cannot even, no need of America to stay with us and have a relation with us, because there's no way for America even to benefit. Even tourism is restricted because the communities are fighting. In a rural area, the tourists are supposed to come to the control camps. They go there, see cows, and go down to the rivers. Come as a tourist, because our country is good for tourism.
All right.
The government and the citizens don't want to allow that opportunity to happen. We are still continue fighting, causing chaos for nothing. And this is a good that it's a high time for America to remain shut and close his border with us until we learn how to be a good citizen, until how we learn how to eat in other people's homes and we allow others to come and eat in our homes.
Thank you.
The diplomacy here. So the diplomacy need to be actually strategized to the way that our politics need to be clean and avoid things that are we are doing now. Let's do good things. Thank you.
Thank you. Diandeng is saying the movies should be like an eye-opener to all the South Sudanese as well. 091102298696 via our Facebook. We have Osuru Samuel is saying President Donald Trump has the right to do anything in the interest of his country. Let African presidents learn to do their best for their country, including South Sudan. Keep those messages coming, and I will go through them. Hi, Radio. Mr. Halur. Marhab.
أول في بداية أنا بدي شكر لبروفيسور جوك مدوت تعليل بتاعه جميل ويرفو ريفك بتاع الأمبسي كان جاي خفلو كلام لكن أنت عارف مدراما سامتايا من عملته بقول مع سابق كل ما يوم أنت باكل في بيت بتاعه كل ما يوم في لما يقول بكون زعلان منه وممكن يقول لي يا أخوي أنت ما تعرف نفسك أمشي أقول تشوف ريتك فده بكون كاب للشعب بتاعنا القاعد في اليوكي أو في أبراد أو نازل بكون شيء تأثيرنا أما للجنوبين تأثير بتاعه إلا ما لم نوحد البنا ونشكل مع بعض شوف هذا ماشي بدأ كيف في سنترال أفريقيا مالا أفريقيا الما بقتا مشاكل من ما هو من عمل سرعة نعمل لقى إندبندنت وإنت لسه قاعد تجيب مشاكل وأو بشوف ترامب صح لأن أنت زول أنت لقيته دولة بتاعك وأنت لسه قاعد شاكل مع أخوك تاني أنت داري شنو أنت ما داري ديفلوبمنت بتاعك عشان يمشي كده عشان كده هو داري إنه شعب مثل بتاع أفريقيا لأنه مشاكل زول بمشي بلقى مساعدات من منظمات وبعدها فينا بدأ أمنات بحصلها وبعدها فينا بقول شاكله ونينا بلقى كونتراكت يلا ده ويجيت مني عشان كده هو شعب إنه إلا معلم الدولات ما داري يعمل استقرار بتاعهم إلا ما لم يكون في سانكشن ده ويعمل يصعب السفارات بتاعه يرجع مكان هناك ونقول هناك هل نهيب بعدنا نلقى حصلة وين ونلقى سكيرة وين ونلقى شنو إلا نهيب بعدنا كان جنوبي ونواد بعد واحد بمنا إن شاء الله إنه إن شاء الله يبطل 3 شهور عشان نشوف إنه الحال ما بواحد بعدنا والسياسيين ما بقدروا يهود بعدهم وانينا ده ما يكون جنوبين كلهم سوا. شكرا
كاليس كودا كولا سما من داي راديو.
Madrama James.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Not too bad. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Madrama James, I think no one could surprise if some administration decide to do this because Trump is punishing not only the one country but the whole world, because if you look at his policies now, he started his administration with flurry of executive orders, which are detrimental to many countries around the world. For example, tariff that he imposed on all countries in the world. This affects everybody. So we can lead to trade war. And this is something that cannot surprise us because Trump has a policy of making America great. And if the Trump decide to close, because I've just read his statement that is released, and this statement which considering closing embassies and consulates. Yes, we have no choice. If the Trump administration decides to do that, then we can just looking the way that we can help ourselves, that we can help our country. Every country can fight for itself because the Trump is no longer serving the interest. If you look at for example, the organization that they head from USA, and this is considered to be a lifeline organization, and here we are many people are bearing the brunt, are suffering. So we should not be surprised for this.
All right.
I also recognize the concern that is raised by Dr. Jok, and this is true. It will affect us, but we have no choice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, that was Lula here in Juba. Via still our Facebook page, we have Diu Anywadi saying South Sudan is an independent state and we can't depend on others or other nation. We can terminate their relationship by closing South Sudan embassy in Washington, D.C. if that's the case. Keep your messages coming via that's our Facebook page, and send for us an SMS on 091 3986986. Hi Radio.
Hello.
Aywa, Emmanuel Panadol.
Salam alaikum. كيف انت كويس جميل؟
ما بطل.
الحمد لله. صفر جدا كلمة اللي توفيق الله شاء لنا في ترابيزة في عائلته. هنا جلسنا we feel sorry بدولة فتانا لأنه الناس وديكم بدولة فتانا نبغى independent. معناته خلينا بيكون عنده إلى خير كويس بالدول البلد وكلنا الدول هنا بيكون في يونيتي مع بعض. لكن حارف الحصري يروح من 2013 لا دي حصري ليس حارف كونتينيو ببلد ودول برا هنا قاعد كوري كارو الآن قاعد يكون في جنوب السودان. لكن على المشكلة حارف تانا أصغر سوق كان أمريكان إمباسي كان ويدرو برا من جنوب السودان. ده أنا بيجا في حل الخطورة. أنا بيجا في حل السكون. سبب ده سلوك أمريكان إمباسي هو بيدرو برا من السودان. ليه إمباسي في الكيس موجود في جنوب السودان؟ ليه بيدرو برا في جنوب السودان؟ ليه؟ كنا قاعدين بعدين. معناته أمم discover حاجة ثانية المعلومة كويس في جنوب السودان يا سبب أمم بيدرو برا ما citizens someone are within South Sudan. So South Sudan's leaders كلهم كده understand. As a أمم بيدرو برا they are going to send your embassy from US back to South Sudan. But communication between America and South Sudan is massive. يلا علينا جسديا علينا ما بعد نلقو وكلام تداول لنا بالقوين وسقط علينا الفير على كان سويا لنا نجيبه من بارد التجار من وين كده ويورينا جدا اللي ما في شنو ما في أيام كتابنا أصل ما في جول براس الكورجو منو بيجا يبغى بمننا ده سؤال لنا باسل كان حكما ما بقى hasa dai nas kafiri yin defend ne bara hasa dai American embassy biro na Norway na munu yani kafiri embassy biro bara in South Sudan this is South Sudan yala that they have come to mind analysis why the reason why the embassy is withdrawing out from the country. Manatu they see the alarm of danger in South Sudan, so they have a command the analysis kitana the listeners manatu nina bar gal Nazi discover higher time. Al-Kam, South Sudan. So, Nina Asid can embassies who will be the masses in South Sudan, Manado Karab ila Kapitana. Internationally, race Sudana, bigger masses. So, become danger than Nina. So,
all right, shukran Khalis. Today, Emmanuel Panadol. If in case you have just joined us, you're listening to the Sundown Show with me, Madrama James. And as we are focusing on the U.S. proposal on closing dozens of that's overseas embassies and consulates, including South Sudan. Now we are asking you this time around, what do you think would be some of the impact if that decision is later on approved? Via our Facebook page, we have that's Gordon Riaka Maleki saying, Yellow Eye Radio, Donald Trump's decision to close the U.S. Embassy in South Sudan follows the country's significant diplomatic challenges, including widespread insecurity on the continent. While his staying aligns with foreign policy consideration, it is essential for our country to carefully evaluate this proposal. Thank you so much, Malek, for sending in, and you too can do the same via that's our Facebook page, YouTube, and live as well. Let's turn our focus and hear from this. iRadio. iRadio? iRadio.
Yes.
James Duar.
Madrama James, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. This idea of closing down South Sudan embassy or U.S. closing their embassy within South Sudan is not a bad idea to the two countries. Though South Sudan is going to get big negative impact on their foreign policy since U.S. is a major superpower all over the world. It also got negative impact on U.S. because you don't close down when you see already you have competitors that are also going to get that huge benefit over your closing down of that country. But South Sudan, most of the things being exhausted by the professor, but I have some point that I also want to underline, like South Sudan currently is really, really in the face of huge famine, which will really create a very big negative impact on people or citizen life. And as he mentioned, that the human rights abuses will increase it because there will be no guiding principle that will really monitor or have a close monitoring zone that will really report such a violation. And this needs us to reconsider. If they want to close down, they will not close it down when they do not see South Sudan is at the face of democracy, because democracy is what always protects human rights most than this tyrant kind of system of governance will really worsening the situation. And it was recently analyzed by the Professor Abraham Colnyon also, underline a very most important point also that need to be reconsidered by U.S. because you cannot do it. And at the side of the government, the moment they close down, there will be a big rise of political parties who are aligned to military wings, and as a result, it may result to government downfall if people are not serious, because each and everybody will be at its own point raising this, and it will cause insecurity to be huger than what we expected. We really need to put world in order when you are closer. But if you pull your feet out of the control of the world, then you are now trying to surrender. As a result, maybe those of China, Russia are the one now to be the beneficiaries. And being a beneficiary is always you are controlling. So we need really U.S. to consider based on even their own benefit, not that you get material benefits as well as financial benefits. This way you can sustain diplomatic relation with the country. But you also need to see at this aspect of who should control the world power, because the more China and Russia control, then you'll get no fit. As a result, you see yourself falling yourself. So even though he associated with Russia as he did, as Trump himself, but Trump should also look, if Russia also come and make their own policy here, will it that really affect U.S. policies? So people need to look at two aspects anyway. For my own view, I can just say let them rethink and see how they should really maintain this world power anyway.
Thank you very much. As well on Facebook, we have that Jok Madut Jok is saying, for now, South Sudan can also replicate by closing down South Sudan embassy in Washington, D.C. In fact, Trump might have felt that South Sudan does not serve their expected interest. Our country can also do the same, as international relation is based on that mutual interest. In a situation where you think things cannot really move forward, you agree to that close down. Otherwise, keep those messages coming right here via our Facebook page. And we have Ayika Gwekayiki is saying the world is connected for support. If embassies are closed, where will South Sudan be? Because we are not able to process our medicine and factories to produce them. Let us not be disconnected from the rest of the world. I read you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome.
You are connecting with the Reverend Young in Dublin.
Welcome, Reverend.
Yeah. So, what I can say, for decision that was made by the President of America, Trump, it is not the logic. Why I say this? South Sudan is a country. The time they come in during our independence, you know that South Sudan is a country. If, for example, if you come, Madrama James, you get your children fighting, you cannot take side or to come with decision that will harm the one person or one child among your children. You can come as the one who is doing peaceful talking to those two your children who are fighting. American is our good people in the first place in Nairobi. Everybody knows. And in the coming recently, they distanced themselves to come to intervene in a problem that was take place in South Sudan. And that's why they come to take the decision that they are going to close that embassy down. So what I can say is, let America reverse their decision to close down embassy, because we are the country. If the country have the supreme law or supreme norm, you cannot take the very strong one. You cannot come and take the very strong one to come and close immediately. But there is a procedure that you can take before you close down your embassy. You cannot take those. If we are fighting as South Sudanese, well, let them come in a full intervention to take the one who has taken law to their hand. Because they are superpower. They are superpower all over the world, not South Sudan alone. So, in my advice to our people, let our people do what world can see. Because we see now, President was saying that he will not take South Sudan back to the war. But there, if the politician do things that will fit this country or the citizen of this country. Yeah, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend. We have got that's Jiken Chap is saying the idea of closing down a U.S. embassy in South Sudan is far negative to the people of South Sudan, but our leaders does not evaluate its international cooperation and boundaries because they talk the way they want on that media. Thank you. With this, let's first have our first commercial break of the show, and when we come back, we shall keep the conversation going right here.
انتباه، كوليرا ده مرض خطير وممكن بيقتلوا في 3 ل 4 ساعات كان ما عالجوا. ولكن في خبر كويس لتا لقاح تا كوليرا البودي بكاسما وفي عشان بحميتا وبحمي أسرتك. لقاح تا كوليرا البودي بكاسما ده وآمن ومجاني، ممكن لأي زول من عمر 9 سنة لفوق، وكمان نسوان الحوامل ومحات القردة إيال عشان بيشيلوا لقاح تا كوليرا البودي بكشمة. ومع كده ما بودي لقاح تا كوليرا لناس العيانين أو ناس اللي عندو كوليرا وإيال الأمر طمن تحت 1 سنة. بودي لقاح تا كوليرا دي في كاسمة وبودي 2 جرعة، جرعة الأول وجرعة الثاني عشان بيقوي مناعتك ضد كوليرا. بودي جرعة نمرة 2 بين أسبوعين ل6 شهور بعد جرعة الأول. ومع جرعة 1 إنت بكون حامي جسم لمدة بوصل ل6 شهور، ومع جرعتين إنت بكون حامي نفسك لمدة بوصل ل3 سنة. لقاح تا كوليرا البودي بكاسما دي وبحميتا من أعراض تا كوليرا الشديد وبيقلل من انتشار تا كوليرا في مجتمع. كلتا ما فوتوا فرصة التطعيم في زمن تحملة تطعيم البودي بكاسما ضد كوليرا البيجا حاصل في منطقتك. كلتا يتذكر إنه حتى بعد التطعيم مهم عشان تبستمر في ممارسة النظافة والصرف الصحي الكويس. كيلتا عالج دايما موية الشراب عشان بكون آمن، وكيلتا استخدم بخانة، وكيلتا معكرة في محل المفتوح. كيلتا كسل إيدتك بموية نظيف وصابون، وخاصة قبل أكل وبعد كان تدخل في بخانة. وكان ظاهر ليتا أو لأي زول التبارف علامات كوليرا، كيلتا أطلب علاج الفوري. إذا كان إتا أو أي زول من أسرتك أو مجتمعتك عنده علامات أو أعراض كوليرا، كيلتا بلغ توالي لأقرب مرفق صحي أو لعامل صحي أو لشخيلتكم عشان تبلغوا مساعدة طبية. لكثير من معلومات كيلتا اتصل بوزارة الصحة في رقم المجاني 6666. رسالة دي بجالتكم من وزارة الصحة بدعم من منظمة الصحة العالمية يونيسيف والشركاء.
رسالة بتاعي للناشونال جوفرمنت ريفيتالايز بيس اجريمنت كده ما قربوا نينا ككنيسة متأسفين بأسماء حاجات ألقى حصل في أبا نايل وفي مالا تانين. سو نينا بأرجو كده ريجا كتبالا asan bi implement revitalize peace agreement asan bijibu salam bijibu wada kwez ben junubin nina tabanin min kalam bita gerger min kalam bita geni fi displaced wala internal displaced term nina tabanin minu so arju bilai ainu tab bita motini wa hajade hukuma kede abus hajade nas ikun fi salam.
مرحبا تاني مرحبا الجديد لو يتلسا دوما هنينا تغاد بيتابي في برنامج بتا سانداون معكم في تقديمنا مدرما جيمس بالميسا دينا غاد باساليتا ثبنا أمريكا در شيلو قرار عشان يقفوا الامباسيز بيتهم تقريبا 10 في أفريقيا وجنوب السودان جزء منهم فأنا غاد باسالو نام قرار ريمون استقبلوا ومن قدموا عشان يقفوا الامباسيز بيتهم بذات في جوبا وفي جنوب السودان يا تتأثير الجنوبيين بيقدر يلقى من خطوة دي. في رسالة بيطلع من بيطلع من ايزاك دينغ بيقول له طبعا خالص بمساعدة القاد بيطلع من برا وجزء من مساعدة دي ما قصدوا لناس المسكينين وناس البرو تبانين كده ناس اشتغل فاس شديد عشان كيف يزول بقدر وقف بطريقته بدلتا بتكي بمساعدة البيطلع من برا. شكرا خالص. ان ناس مبرو من مكالمة دتوال مباشرة ناي راديو.
مساء الخير يا راديو.
مساء النور. Atema, good to have you.
Thank you very much. Yes, to comment on this topic, yes, President Trump closed what I do call U.S. embassy in South Sudan. Politically, you know what is going on. And perhaps as a citizen of South Sudan, we don't have problems. Politicians are the one who knows what is going on in South Sudan and outside South Sudan. Because, why I'm saying like that? Our heirs were fighting for the freedom of for the freedom of South Sudan or for independence of South Sudan. But really, they were fighting for independence of South Sudan because to come and fight themselves, to come and let the citizens of South Sudan to be suffered, to show the suffering citizens of South Sudan. That's why in 2013 the fire break out in Juba until now. There's not any single freedom we get in South Sudan. We are just suffered and suffered. The suffered is not mean that you are going to fight. Suffered, when you are hungry, you are suffered. Your country is not free from war. You don't have, you are not free to go for where you want to go. You are afraid to go to forest, because when you go to forest, you get a rebel there, and they can loot what you have. So this thing, for the President Trump to close the U.S. embassy in South Sudan, it is their hands. No petition of South Sudan. So we don't have problem, because President Trump is about, he's a head president. So maybe there is something going wrong here in South Sudan. That's why he's going to close in South Sudan.
All right.
Some crises are going on in South Sudan, especially in Juba. Juba now is not free. Juba people are standing by. They are waiting for where bullet is going to be break out. So people of South Sudan are not free. So it is a right to close embassy, to close the U.S. embassy. So that is my own.
Thank you so much, Atem. Now we have someone here who call himself Ambassador Malwal Jr. is saying South Sudan has a lot of natural resources. If the government official care for the country, then South Sudan won't suffer from food and other things. Only that we must accept ourselves to end communal fighting, then we would feed ourselves without international intervention, and we might take an example from that Burkina Faso. Thank you. Keep your messages coming. iRadio.
Hello.
Naam.
Madrama James, William Sunilabad.
Marhaba, كيف ويلي؟
يا تمام يا أخويا.
ما بطل أنت بقول شنو في قرار الأمريكا ده شيلو ده؟
سيلو سفارة دولة جنوب السودان.
عشان يقفلوه مرة واحدة.
أنا بشوف كده أنا كلام ده بيكون في تأثير لأن الجنوبيين ودول جديد موجودة لسه في زمن لسه ما تيمو يعني لسه الناس بتقول لسه يعني بمشي يعني ما بمشي باثنين كرة بمشي بواحد كرة. لكن بيقول يا تعرف أنا بقول اسمع ليش يعني لكن نحن كنا نكون نحترم كمان يعني عقاية الناس دي البجاي حتى السفارة بتاعنا في أمريكا لما نشتغل يعني شغل الكويس عشان بيجيبنا شنو سواء في البيت لا أصلا الناس غلطانين ذاته الناس اللي في زمن كبداية من يعرف شيء معنا ذاته أمريكا ده بالضبط يعني زمن تخرج ده كل أنا شفت أخوي مدامة الزيوت اللي بيجي في عمليات كله في كان في حرب الجنوب ده كله أنت لقيت أي بلد في جنوب السودان ده كله زمن أنت مشاكل العرب بدو قلنا ده أي كورسون أنت الزيت ولا كورسون أنت بسكريت بيقول فوق US كله من أمريكا جابوا أكثر ناس كان قاعدين مستوى بتمن لأن عندنا كان بيتكلمون يعني زي شنو زي أبوهاتنا حتى البلاد اللي قام ذاته هو أمريكا ذاته أكبر دولة هو اللعبة دول يعني دول كبيرة في البلد يكون فوق استقلال كلهم بلد عربية ده كلهم بقى الدول ده كله لكن الدول اللعبة الدول الكبيرة عشان يكون في استقلال في جنوب السودان ده هو أمريكا ده ذاته كويس فأي حاجة بالمكانات بتاعه بكل حاجات بتاعه حتى لو لما نوقف حتى جنوب السودان ده يقوم بقى دولة عشان كده كان تعرف أنه كم يحترمهم لكن طبعا هنا بقى نسيناهم خلاص فهم عندهم حق بيقول يشيلوا لكن لو كان بيقول لا كمان يا جماعة معلش عندنا كان دخلين كم الناس كمان كبار طبعا السياسيين بتاعنا لما يكونوا قاصرين ويكون يعني قاصرين ده كان دولة بتاعنا لكن كمان يديهم حق بتاعهم يعني ننتظر لهم ومش اللي جاوا دي كلام يا بني
شكرا جزيلا. كنا ويلي من لولوغا هنا رسالة بيدلا من ماثيو روجيم مارتين is saying a nation like South Sudan need to build a strong diplomatic policy in order to encourage infrastructure, social and economic growth. We can't develop if there is no proper foreign policy because we are mostly depending on that natural resources which are being manufactured into finished good by other nations. Let the government improve their international relations with neighbors and the international communities as well. Keep your messages coming on that 0913-986-986 for live call 0911-022-986-986. Hi Radio. Yes, Joseph.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening.
This is a too tough topic.
Sure.
My brother, the statement of the United States of America for closing the embassy in Juba is really affecting people of South Sudan. It's also closing or cutting of the budget of the economies in South Sudan and other countries in Africa is also affecting our people. U.S. aid has already cut, was also affected people of South Sudan. This blame is not for Americans. If you look at the the situation that American is intervened on this. American was intervened, especially administration of George W. Bush at 2002 for the peace comprehensive peace agreement was supported by the American government. American administration put its hand and into the implementation of the CPA. At the end of the CPA, it became a result of the independence of South Sudan, and American came in supporting developmental project for South Sudanese. When we came to 2013, we got to war as our politicians created their differences, and American came in to give them what so-called peace agreement, which is a comprehensive peace agreement. When people came in to implement it, break to war again in 2016.
Now with this decision, sorry for interrupting. Now with this decision, if it is approved, what impact do you think it will have on South Sudan?
When came to the revitalized peace agreement in 2018, American also talk about it, and South Sudanese say if without any support from international community, we can implement this agreement. But now American has given up because there's no implementation, and many things has been done, and South Sudanese people are still in that darkness situation. So what we request from them, they are supposed to not forget people of South Sudan, because if leaders are doing different things, it is not to punish all citizens. Now, if they are close here, they turn to Juba as in level 4, that few months. Now they close down. If they go back, they leave Juba as a contention area. But that one we could not accept it. As a citizen of South Sudan, we are still calling for America. This country is a small child in your hand. It is your child. We being born as South Sudan under hand of United States.
Quite unfortunate that your line just dropped right there. But I thank you so much, Joseph, for sharing your thought with us. And now a quick text message coming in from Ali Musa, who is watching us live. That's via our Facebook page from WOW. He says he thinks closing of that U.S. embassy in South Sudan is a right decision taken by President Donald Trump, because some of African countries, including South Sudan, rely on U.S. support and wouldn't want to encourage themselves and work hard to develop their own countries. That is his thinking. Then we have Apaga Godfrey Doku. He's saying, as South Sudan, we still need America because it's a big democracy country with a lot of support to our communities. If we utilize it well, it can help us to set for that self-reliance. Thank you. And then we have one is saying, let them close the embassy. Otherwise, let me talk to one more last caller for now. iRadio. 091102298698 iRadio.
Ramadan.
Lucas Hebit.
Ana gani yani diga de gunia alfi ni sai de gofla mara waile.
Akira nita be jai gadam.
Ai ke
Ma batal.
America de gofla diga na embassy alin de barakalas.
Ma bes fi Juba Sudan lekina ashara fi Afrika.
Okay. Ma diga sabani khalas maguru zola algam la yere ma zola diga sabani maguru. Bidali Gurusto alogara sul fi mahala del khalas o bigal gu khalas ya o foder go full of embassy bara ma no muskila ana da kutu biga bala tadna tajur Sudan anna bagder bi sakal fi sunya da gare dasir lenna fi sunya bagder bi gadi mina lakidam na ma kutu ma zol tani na kede ma kutu bala musakil na kede kutu bala le sokol lakin ni jun Sudan ni ma zol ge amul sokol na der kutu musakil ma ko kelumani ay no atna bada zu menina yawde badini kidamu nadi bekunu kes kelina wogi fi kalamu wae bita agreement peace na kelima fogo na kelima ma be sakalma kalama tu bande bara bidalu on the side man ga sai du yan der ka man haja yala ma ya sa ban ki su ya so fatal kaduman der go ful man go ful there sala bitaya.
Shukran, Khalis. We have a text coming in from that's Alfred K. Gadlwaki saying, Yellow Eye Radio. Texting you from that UN house. It's not good and easy for citizens of South Sudan if America close down its embassy in our country. Thank you as well, Alfred K. Gadluak from that UN house. With that, dear listener, and follow us on our Facebook page. We have come to the end of this very conversation, and we have been talking about the proposed U.S. Decision to closing that dozens of overseas embassies and consulate, including South Sudan. We have been talking about the impact if that decision is finally approved. Many of you have shared in your thought, and I hope, of course, your opinion will shape this conversation in our country as well. Thank you. I am your host, Madrama James.